Hey, what's going on, guys? Radio Graffiti here, and hang on, let me explain. I know you've seen the title of the video and you're ready to kill me about it. Let me explain myself. In my personal opinion, Avengers Infinity War is the best comic book movie of all time, so far. Yes, there's tons of other great comic book movies like, for example, The Dark Knight, Iron Man 1, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. There's a lot of other comic book movies that people consider to be the greatest superhero movie of all time, but in my personal opinion, I think it's Infinity War, and I'm going to go over why right now. The movie immediately starts off with shit hitting the fan. As soon as the Marvel logo comes up, you hear some Asgardians calling for help. So we're already, as soon as the movie starts, we're in distress, and then we continue off where Thor Ragnarok post-credit scene left off, and Thanos has murdered basically everybody that was on the ship. And I'm gonna tell you why this is one of my favorite comic book movie openings ever. As soon as it opens up, Thor and Hulk get their ass beat. This is something that is really crazy because Hulk and Thor have always been the strongest Avengers. They've always been the ones that the Avengers could kind of rely on to save the day. And the fact that the movie starts off with them getting their ass beat by Thanos just shows us how much of a badass he is. Thanos' entrance, his speech, everything about it is just so fucking cool. The cinematography of him just standing there just looking around the dead bodies, holding Thor in his hand like a fucking ragdoll as he walks towards Loki. It's just so fucking dope. And then Hulk gets his ass beat. And I love how Thanos just lets Hulk wail on him, trying to see how he fights, and then he starts countering him, and Thanos is a better fighter. So he ends up beating up Hulk. There's actually a reason why Hulk loses, and it's not just, oh well, we can't beat the bad guy in the first 10 minutes. And it just goes by so quick. The pacing in this entire movie is just so quick. Because you feel a constant need of dread. Like there's a rush, like the Avengers are trying to hurry up and stop Thanos before he can get to the next stone. The pacing is just incredibly fast for a 2-hour and 30-minute film. It's just electric. And can we talk about how much of a badass Thor is in this movie? And how much shit he's gone through? Like holy shit, Thor has just had it horrible. He has to watch Heimdall die in the beginning of the movie, not to mention he has to watch Loki, his brother, get his neck snapped. Pretty traumatizing shit. This is all just in the first 10 minutes, by the way. And keep in mind, Thor just got done seeing his father die and his world get destroyed by his evil sister, who's probably dead now. So Thor has just had a terrible, terrible time right now. His character previously has been so lame, and then all of a sudden in Thor Ragnarok and in this movie, he's just a completely different character. He's so fucking cool and badass. And in my opinion, he's one of my favorite Avengers, and one of the reasons why I'm looking so forward to watching Thor Love and Thunder. Because dude has just been so fucking cool in these movies now. And I love how consistent the tone and the characters are throughout the film. The Guardians of the Galaxy act exactly like they do in their movies. So there's no inconsistency there. It's not like, oh, new director, which means new characters. No. All the characters act pretty much the same as they have in their previous films. And yes, I will admit the CGI can look a bit off throughout the film. Mostly with Iron Man. Like there's points in the movie where it literally looks like Robert Downey Jr.'s head is just floating in the air. That's one of my small complaints with the film. Some of the green screen and CGI can be a little iffy. I don't like how Hulk's kind of a beta male bitch in this movie. But besides that, everything else is fantastic to me. People complain a lot that the MCU doesn't have any memorable music. Well, I think this movie does. This is one of the rare exceptions in the MCU where they actually have some good music in it. There's a lot of serious, emotional shit that happens in this film. I already mentioned the first 10 minutes, but let's talk about Gamora. We get to the scene where Gamora thinks that she just murdered Thanos. And she should be happy, right? Because she talks about how much she hates Thanos. Then she ends up crying, like she feels bad that she murdered her father, but then it turns out to all be an illusion. And that's some pretty deep shit that she asked Peter to kill her in case she got captured by Thanos. It's even worse that when you see him actually have to do it, like he literally tried to kill Gamora and then Thanos saves her with turning his gun into a bubble machine. I love how the entire movie isn't even really an Avengers movie, it's more of a Thanos movie. He's one of the most interesting and complex characters in the entire movie. He's such an interesting villain, and in my opinion, he's one of the best comic book movie villains we've ever had, if not the best. I mean, I know he's a bunch of CGI and that people love to bring up Heath Ledger's Joker, but I think Thanos is pretty good as far as a actual comic book movie villain, like somebody who can actually withstand a bunch of heroes, somebody who can physically take on our heroes, and he's also pretty smart too. I think Thanos' dialogue is actually pretty cool throughout the film too. I think he's definitely an iconic movie villain now thanks to this film. And Thanos actually succeeds in the end. How many comic book movies have you seen where our heroes actually lose? I can probably count on one hand how many movies I've seen like that. It was so ballsy of Marvel to just dust off half their characters. Well, granted, I knew that we all knew they were coming back, but still, just the repercussions of what happened is still seen in the MCU. Marvel hasn't stopped with the "who got dusted" thing that happened at the end of Infinity War. Infinity War has changed up the MCU a lot. And the Avengers don't just lose because, oh, we need to have a dramatic movie. They lose because they fight too emotionally. You know, you see Star-Lord beating the shit out of Thanos because he is emotional about Gamora dying, which I'm still pissed about. Fuck you, Star-Lord. And then Thor thinks too emotionally, he wants to give a big middle finger to Thanos before he kills him, when he really could have ended him right there. There's tons of moments throughout the movie where characters could have prevented Thanos from succeeding, but they didn't because of thinking too emotionally, or they didn't think fast enough, or whatever the case may be. They couldn't keep their cool. You know, I think that's very interesting to see our heroes fail, because in all the Avengers movies, they always succeed. I think the movie also does a good job of kind of having different groups of our characters together, because this movie should not have worked. Having all the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy come together to fight a new villain that we've rarely seen in the MCU before, everyone thought this movie was going to be complete garbage, because there's so many characters in the film. But it actually works pretty good, because they ended up splitting up our characters. I really liked seeing Rocket and Thor have their emotional moment. I also love seeing Doctor Strange and Iron Man go back and forth with their banter, having a dick measuring contest throughout the film. And I can't be the only one who had a heart attack in the movie theater when Iron Man got stabbed. I really thought he was gonna die right here. The fight on Titan is one of the best action sequences I've seen in a comic book movie, because basically they're all trying to work together to just get one man to just not snap his fingers. It was so cool seeing all the visual effects as well with the Doctor Strange versus Thanos fight. There were so many neat ideas that they had there. It was something unique that you never really see before. It really feels like a big, epic assembly movie. Whereas Avengers Endgame, it was mostly about the 6 Avengers until like the last hour. But the entire movie is mostly about our original Avengers. This really feels like a big, huge, epic comic book movie. Everything about this film just feels so epic. You know, you can't talk about epic without talking about one of the best scenes in the entire movie.
Bring me Thanos!
This scene is so fucking cool. And it's crazy because like I never even thought about Thor going into Wakanda until the scene happened. I was like, holy shit, this is so fucking cool. I also really enjoyed the ending where there's a fight on Wakanda and then Thanos is just wiping out all the Avengers one by one effortlessly with his Infinity Gauntlet, because he's just so powerful now that he has almost all the stones. So the Avengers can't even touch him now. The only one that even somewhat challenges him was Captain America. I also love how Wanda is able to destroy an Infinity Stone with one hand, while also keeping Thanos held back with the other. It just shows how powerful she is. I thought it was a really emotional and just badass moment for Wanda, because you feel what she's going through, you know, having to kill somebody that she loves to sacrifice somebody that she loves so that she can save half the universe, and then just for it to fail. It's just pretty tragic the way that worked. And then yes, Thanos snaps his fingers, half our Avengers get dusted, Thanos sits down and smiles, and then the movie ends. Holy fucking shit. What a badass way to end your movie. Our heroes lose, and our villain is left smiling. We need more comic book movies like this. This was so fucking cool, dude. You're not gonna lie, I knew it was all a lie when I seen Black Panther get snapped. I was like, yeah, alright, buddy. They're not gonna get rid of a guy who just made $1 billion at the box office on his first movie. They're not gonna kill off Black Panther, or Spider-Man, or the Guardians like that. So I knew they were all coming back, but I knew Avengers 4 wasn't gonna be as good as this movie, because this shit fucking slapped. But yeah, the emotional impact of it still works because all our characters have to go through that in the next movie. So, just to wrap it up, why is Infinity War the best comic book movie of all time? Well, it's got some of the best characters of all time, it's one of the best action sequences, fantastic music, pacing is electric, goes by extra quick, it's a big movie that feels epic all throughout, never loses its structure. It has a perfect balance of emotional, serious moments, broken up with some humor throughout, but not a complete joke throughout the film. But the movie never stops to have a whole bunch of comedy and make it seem like everything that's happening is a joke. You can feel our characters taking everything very seriously. Infinity War isn't like any comic book movie we've ever had before. Most of the time it's just standalone solo movies where the hero wins at the end and has like a minor consequence here and there. But this movie, our hero straight up fucking lose. And Thanos is such a fucking cool, badass character. You gotta love him. The whole movie is basically about him, which I really enjoyed. We got plenty of personal moments with him, like when he sits down and talks with Gamora. And you get to understand his motivation a little bit better when he's talking to Steven. So yeah, that in my opinion is why Infinity War is the best comic book movie of all time. I don't feel like any comic book movie really is able to accomplish what this movie does. It's constantly action-packed all throughout the film, and all the action is pretty fucking kick-ass. I feel like all the characters get kicked up a notch, with the exception of Hulk. And yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. And I hope you enjoyed the video.